The water is 68 degrees and it feels like knives. You've been in it for 4 hours. Your hand stopped working an hour ago. The instructor is standing on the sand looking at you the way a surgeon looks at a procedure, technically without feeling. He says nothing. The bell is right there, brass, waist high. 3 rings and it's over. Hot food, dry clothes, a warm rack. You could be done in 6 seconds. You don't ring it. You don't know why yet. But something in you has already decided that this is where you begin. Level 1, tadpole. You are nobody. That is not an insult. That is the technical reality of your situation. You have no rank, no call sign, no credibility inside this world. You are a candidate, but S has not accepted you. It is merely tolerating you, waiting to see how long before you break. The days run together. 400 wake up, log PT, surf passage, 4 miles of sand and boots. Meals eaten in under 4 minutes. You sleep in wet clothes because there is no time to dry them. Your body stops feeling like your body somewhere around week 2. It becomes a vehicle you operate through pain. The psychological trick of hell, week in the infamous 5 days of continuous evolution, is not physical. The instructors know that. You figure it out around hour 40 when you're holding a telephone pole above your head in the surf zone at 3 a.m. while someone yells at you about your grip. The trick is this. They are not breaking your body. They are finding out who controls your mind. Some men quit. Good men, smart men, strong men. They ring the bell and you watch them walk away and you feel nothing about it because you can't afford to feel anything about it. That is the first lesson this world teaches you. Compartmentalize or die. You earn nothing here except the right to continue. At the end of BUDS, at the end of SQT, they pin a trident on your chest. It's heavy. You expected it to feel like victory. It doesn't. It feels like a door opening into a room where the real work starts. Level 2. New guy. The teams are not what you imagined. You imagined a brotherhood of warriors burning with righteous intensity. What you find is something more functional and more intimidating. A group of extremely competent men who are waiting to see if you belong. You are the new guy. The FNG. Nobody says it with contempt exactly. They don't have to. You listen more than you talk. You observe. You learn that rank inside a SEAL platoon is real on paper and invisible in practice. The E5 with 3 combat deployments carries more authority in the team room than the O3 who graduated from Annapolis 6 months ago. Credibility is earned in increments. It cannot be borrowed. Your first deployment is Iraq, Mosul, 2007. You do not sleep the night before your first direct action raid, not because you're afraid. You are, but that's not why. You don't sleep because you are running every contingency, every breach point, every cover assignment through your head until the sequence is automatic. When the helicopters lift off at 0200, something in your body goes quiet. The noise of preparation disappears. What's left is clean. You clear a 3-story building in 11 minutes. Nobody dies. 3 HVTs detained. On the helicopter back, your troop chief looks at you once. No nod. No praise. He turns back to his gun. That look contains everything you need to know about how approval works here. It is not given. It is withheld until it isn't. You learn to read silence like a language. Level 3, operator. 2 deployments in. You stop being watched. That is the shift. Not a promotion, not a ceremony. One morning you walk into the team room and you realize that no one is checking whether you belong there anymore. You belong there. It happened without announcement. It happened because you showed up correctly enough times until the question resolved itself. Your body is a system you trust. You can shoot a 600-meter target in low-light conditions, clear a room in 3.2 seconds, apply a tourniquet one-handed in under 30 seconds. These are not things you think about doing, they are things you do. The combat now is not the combat from the movies. It is procedural, methodical. Most of the violence happens in seconds and then it is over and you are already moving to the next position, the next room, the next phase of the mission. You do not think about what happened until much later. Sometimes, not at all. Your marriage, The one you started before Bud S. is suffering. Your wife says you don't talk anymore. You tell her you talk. She says you mean words. You say words, but you don't talk. You think about that late at night on deployment, staring at the ceiling of your FOB in Kandahar. You understand what she means. You've been quartering off the parts of yourself that don't survive over here. You're not sure you know how to let her back into the quartered off sections. You make E6 on schedule. Senior petty officer. Your team leader calls you into his office and tells you you're being considered for the advanced sniper course. He says it like he's informing you of a logistics update. You say, "Roger that." Inside, something bright happens. You contain it immediately. That containment is automatic now. You didn't decide to do it. The system did it for you. Level 4. Point man, you are now a weapon with a function, not metaphorically. In the operational vocabulary of a direct action troop, you are the first man through the door, the tip of the formation, the one who dictates the pace of the entire assault. Your decisions are made in fractions of seconds, and everyone behind you reacts to what you do. You are 28 years old, and you are responsible in real time for the survival calculus of an 8-man element. The pressure is not dramatic, it is permanent. You've been in 6 firefights now. One that lasted 45 minutes in a Helmand Valley where 2 guys from 3rd Platoon died. You don't talk about it. There's nothing to say. You had the left flank. You held it. That's the whole sentence. You notice that civilians don't register anymore. Not the way they used to. You used to feel the weight of the mission at the moral level, the life and death architecture of what you were doing. Now you feel the mission at the operational level. What is the target building? What are the entry points? What is the exfil? Route? The moral dimension is not gone. It's filed somewhere. You access it rarely. At home, between deployments, you are 2 people. One is the person who eats dinner with his kid and watches television and goes to the grocery store. The other is the person who sits with his back to the wall in every room and reads the exit points and calculates, without meaning to, what the engagement distance would be if someone came through the front door. You don't tell anyone about the second person. They couldn't understand it. And more importantly, it wouldn't help anything for them to try. Level 5. Team leader. You are in charge of 7 men. This is different from being the best operator. Being the best operator is a personal achievement. Being a team leader is a different kind of problem entirely. You are responsible for 7 sets of skills, 7 physical conditions, 7 psychological states. One of your guys is burning out. You can see it. He doesn't know you can see it. You file the information. You brief missions now. You stand in front of the whiteboard with the satellite imagery and the target package and the E&E routes, and you talk for 40 minutes and your men ask questions and you answer them. Not because you know everything, because you know more than you say, and the confidence in your voice is part of the mission preparation. Fear is contagious and so is calm. Your first decision where a man's life turned on your call happens in a compound outside Jalalabad. It takes 4 seconds to make the call. You call for the assault to continue when, by the numbers, you could have called to abort. 2 intelligence objectives neutralized, no friendly casualties. Afterward, you sit alone in the vehicle and your hands do not shake. You check. They don't. You make E7. Chief Petty Officer. The chief's initiation is its own world. You won't describe it to anyone outside of it. What you take from it is this. You are now part of a layer of the institution that operates on a different frequency. Chiefs run the Navy. That is not a saying. That is the structural reality. Officers bring the plan. Chiefs execute the plan. Chiefs protect the men. You protect the men. That becomes the one principle that doesn't erode. Level 6. Master Chief, Senior Enlisted Advisor. You have been to war 7 times. You don't count combat engagements anymore. You stopped in year 9. The number doesn't mean anything useful. What means something useful is the knowledge, granular, specific, hard-won, of how operators fail, how missions fail, how men come apart, and how to prevent all 3. You are the Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Task Unit Commander. You are not a figurehead. You are the institutional memory. When the young O4 from Annapolis with 2 deployments presents his mission concept to the command element, you are the one who says, quietly, in the room afterward, that exfil route has 3 observable choke points and we have no contingency for a vehicle compromise. The route changes. He doesn't thank you. He shouldn't have to. Your opinions now have operational gravity. This is something you didn't plan for. You thought senior enlisted was about training, about mentorship, about institutional knowledge. It is all of that. It is also influence over decisions that kill or do not kill Americans. You carry that with a quietness that other people read as distance. It is not distance. It is weight. Your marriage ended in year 11, not dramatically. She didn't leave angry. She left sad, which was harder. You have a daughter who is 12. You call her every Sunday. The calls are 20 minutes. You are good at them. You are present in them in a way you are not always present in other things. You think about that sometimes. What got the calls when the deployments got everything else? Level 7, Warrant Officer, COS NS Dalos Operator, Special Programs. This level doesn't officially exist in the literature you can discuss. You are a Chief Warrant Officer. You operate in a space where the mission parameters are not briefed to full command elements. The task organization is smaller, the target packages are more sensitive. The legal framework governing your authority is something you have read carefully and which you do not discuss. You are 41 years old. You have outlasted every peer who started with you. Most are out, some are contractors. 2 are dead. The operators you work with are a decade younger than you. They look at you the way you once looked at the old guys, with a mixture of respect and something like wariness. They are not sure what you've done. They are not sure they want to know. What they know is that you are the one who gets called when the problem doesn't fit the normal framework. You are the normal framework for the problems that have no framework. At this level, the anonymity is structural. You don't appear in photos. Your name does not accompany citations. The things you have done will not be confirmed during your lifetime. You have made peace with that. Peace is the wrong word. You have arrived at a functional relationship with it. You no longer feel most things the way you did at 22. This is not numbness. Numbness implies something missing. What you have is calibration. Your emotional range has narrowed to the frequencies that are operationally useful. Everything outside that range is faint. Present, but faint. You don't consider this a loss. Most days. Level 8. The Ghost. There is no ceremony for this. You don't get promoted to what you are now. You become it gradually over the course of 26 years, through an accumulation of missions and decisions and silences and costs that leave you standing in a position that has no formal title. You are the person other people call when they need to know whether something is possible, not whether it is advisable, not whether it is sanctioned, whether it is possible, and if possible, how. You know things that are not written down. You know them because you were there. You know the names of operations that do not appear in any database. You know the real sequence of events behind 2 incidents that were reported differently. You know 3 men who are officially listed as something other than what they were. You are 53 years old. You are in the best physical condition of most men 15 years younger. You run 7 miles in the morning not because you have to, but because the structure of it is the only morning ritual that has survived everything else. Your life is very quiet now. You live alone. You have a small house near the water. You eat simply. You sleep efficiently, 6 hours, dreamlessly. You have learned to move through the world in a way that attracts no attention, and this comes naturally because you have spent the better part of 3 decades being invisible on purpose. You do not miss the action. That surprises you sometimes. You thought you would. What you miss, if that's the right word, is the clarity, the clean logic of a mission, objective, actions, exfil. In that world, everything had a purpose and the purpose was legible. The civilian world is louder and murkier, and the objectives are rarely stated, and the exfil routes are metaphorical and people are strange about things that seem very small. You have friends. Fewer than most people your age. The ones you have, you would do anything for. They know that. You know they would do the same. No one says this. It doesn't need to be said. Your daughter is 24 now. She is in graduate school. She is serious and precise, and sometimes she looks at you and you can see her cataloging something, trying to understand who you are, what the sum of you is. You want to tell her. You don't know how to tell her. The two of you are working on it. That's enough. That's something. At night, sometimes you sit outside and look at the water. You are not thinking about anything specific. You are not troubled. You are not at peace. You are simply present, with full awareness of what the last 3 decades cost and what they built and what they destroyed. You know what you are. You know what you chose. You would not undo it. That is the most honest thing you can say about any of it. Somewhere in Coronado, a 22-year-old is standing in cold water at 0300. His legs are cramping. His mind is trying to negotiate with him. It's offering him exit routes, reasons, rationalizations. The bell is right there. He doesn't know what this world will make of him. He doesn't know what he will make of it. He doesn't know the names of the places he'll go, the missions with no documentation, the men he'll lose, the parts of himself he'll file away so deep they never come back. He thinks this is the hardest thing he will ever do. He doesn't know yet, but he will.